It's that time again. You already know the deal. Let's just get started. We're going top down as per usual. Um, and yeah, luckily again, Meursault at the top. Very nice, very cool. Let's see what we've got going on here. Um, I just woke up very recently, so excuse me if I'm a little low energy as per usual. But things I'm expecting for Rhino, I mean, they just the thing is they just released another tank ID. Uh, they just released Hong Lu, so like, I hope to God it's not like another tank. Surely they would not give Meursault another tank. Like, please, man, please. And also, his skills in the trailer looked pretty neat, but I mean, aren't the Rhino guys supposed to have like a huge hammer or something? Like, I don't know. I did not get that far in Library of Ruina, so I don't know. But I saw like a clip of like the Rhino dudes, and they had like this huge AoE thing too. So you know, maybe they have an AoE. I don't know. Uh, doubt it, because they would never give Meursault a good ID. But you know, let's see it. So we got Envy, Gloom, Lust. Very strange Sin lineup, but it's not unwelcome. Especially Gloom skill 2 is okay. I don't think, like, we have enough Gloom, though, I feel like. We have Rodya skill 2, and we have Dawn skill 2, who are both Gloom, so I don't know if we need more, but it wouldn't hurt, I guess. Honestly, just the absence of Gluttony and Sloth is kind of putting me off. But, I mean, we have plenty of Gluttony Sloth. It's just that, like, right now, as far as I can tell, the meta kind of demands a lot of Gluttony and Sloth, so I don't think we can really get enough of either of those at the moment. So I'd rather, like, you know, I'd rather not have, like, Gloom, because we don't need that much Gloom right now. Envy is always nice to have, and Lust is always nice to have too. So, I mean, it's okay. It's a good Sin lineup. 133 coins, very cool. 3 coins on the skill 2 is pretty good. And then we'll just go here. At X plus charge count, boost final power. At X plus speed, deal more damage. I mean, it's a 1 coin skill though, so like, the total power is not going to be high. Like, let's say the total power is like 10. What if like, let's say it's a standard skill 1, as in like 4 plus 5, like 4 plus 6, right? It's a standard skill 1. The total power would be 10, right? Because 4 plus 6, and it hits once, right? So it would roll once for 10. As opposed to, like, let's say, what is another example of like a mid-power skill, like 4 plus 3 by 2, right? So if your skill is skill 1 is 2 coins, and it's like a 4 plus 3 by 2, 10 total power, or 10 total coin power, you would roll the first coin for 7, because 4 plus 3 is 7, and then, you know, you'd roll the second one for 10, so this would be 17 total power. So even though it says, like, boost the final power, and deal more damage, which is exciting, the number we're working with is just naturally going to be lower than the standard, right? The number we're working with is going to be lower than the standard, because it's only rolling 1 coin for damage. So, I mean, it could be fine, but it's not as exciting as it seems at first. Anyways, at X plus speed, inflict more bleed count with the skill. On hit, gain charge. Heads hit, inflict bleed count. On hit, inflict bleed count. So I guess we're a bleed ID. I mean, I wouldn't know what Rhino does in Library of Ruina. I don't know if he bleeds or not. I honestly was expecting it to be like Tremor, obviously. I feel like that's pretty, that's kind of a given. So, you know, whatever. Seems fine, I guess. Like, a 3 coin skill 2 is exciting. And it is a significant amount of bleed, but the thing is, like, bleed is just not in demand in the meta. Like, it's not really that good. on part because of a lack of support that's been printed. Like, there has not been bleed support printed recently. So, like, you know, we're still on, basically all of our bleed stuff is, like, from launch, is basically all the bleed we have right now. And, I mean, that's just not gonna cut it, and bleed was not really that good in the first place. Like, I don't know, in my opinion anyway, like, bleed was not really that good in the first place, so, I don't really care too much for bleed count, because, I mean, we don't have that many ways to increase bleed potency right now. So, I mean, you know, it's nice to have, but we don't have ways to increase potency, like, quickly. So, the only way that I can think of to increase potency, like, really quickly is, like, you know, Kurikumo Rodya, her skill, that's not the right one, yeah. Kurikumo Rodya inflicts, like, 10 bleed on one hit if it crits, but, like, dude, you don't even, like, as soon as you see poise, you already know we sleep. So, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like the bleed support is nice for the future, but for now, like, we don't have means to even capitalize off of all of the bleed count that he would be applying. So, on use at X plus charge gain coin power. Coin power is more exciting because it's a 3-coin skill. So, I do like that. That's very good. That's very good. On hit inflict bleed count, spend charge, and then again. Yeah, like, this is an absurd amount of bleed count. Again, the problem is we just don't have that much, like, we don't have that many ways to increase bleed potency quickly. So unless the base numbers are good, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem that great. And like, I mean, okay, he looks like a tank, which is like already not good. The fact that he looks like a tank is already not good, but when his abilities all trigger at X plus speed, and then this is charge count obviously, but these two trigger on X plus speed, which means that he's not going to be slow as fuck. Finally, hopefully, because speed is a very powerful stat in this game, because again, the more speed you have, the more control you have over a fight. You can choose which attacks go where, and all that, so I think that's promising. The bleed count is probably gonna be okay, but like, I can't see it being great, because you need to run, like, a bleed team, in order to, like, bleed count is not, like, a general, it's not, like, a generalist status effect, because it doesn't do anything on its own. Like, it does, like, 1 damage. It's just, like, it's not good enough to be even worth, like, considering, that it exists, unless you have bleed potency. So in order to make use of it, you'd have to run a bleed team, right? But the only really good bleed IDs are, like, Kurikumo Ryoshu, which she does not inflict that much bleed potency. So, you know, unfortunate. I mean, I guess her support passive could be okay. Like, her highest speed ally, if this Meursault plays around speed, then maybe she could be used as a support passive. I could see it, but like, beyond that, if you're bringing her in a bleed team, then, you know, her bleed potency application is like fine-ish. And then obviously Kurikumo Honglu is like the best bleed ID. But the problem is, you turn off Cloud Cutter as soon as you use any of these skills. I am just imagining Cloud Cutter instantly turns off, which, like, removes all of his, like, removes the entire purpose of bringing him. So, I don't know. And then there's also, like, I mean, Cloud Burst is okay for applying bleed potency. I think it applies 6, which is fine, but it's not, like, fantastic or anything. It's not like crazy. It's just pretty good. But, like, I mean, this is, like, the bleed potency on Cloudburst is not the reason you bring this ID. The reason you bring it, obviously, is for Cloud Cutter. And in a bleed team, he just has anti-synergy with other bleed members, because his Cloud Cutter turns off, and that's like 90% of the reason you're even bringing him in the first place. Again, he has the support passive that inflicts more bleed, so maybe you could bench him and Kurikumo Ryoshu. What is... This is slash damage, right? Yeah, that doesn't matter. I mean, maybe you could bench the two and it would be, like, funny. Meursault could inflict, like, a ton of bleed if he's the fastest, but, I mean, I don't know. It does not seem crazy unless his actual, like, base numbers are good. Which, I mean, judging, just historically judging, probably not going to be the case, if I were to guess. Guard skill, if attacked while shielded, gain charge count. Dude, don't even make me laugh with this. At the end of the turn, raise max speed per X charge count next turn. At the end of the turn, raise max speed per X charge count next turn. Right, okay. So you give him a lot of charge, and next turn he'll, like, let's say his speed is, like, average, like, 3 to 6. I feel like it'll probably be lower. Let's say, like, 3 to 5, right? Like, let's say, you know, raise max speed. Let's say, like, every 3 charge, he'll gain 1 max speed or something, right? So, like, if he's sitting at, like, 10 charge, he'll gain +3 max speed, right? So, it would go from 3 to 5 to, like, 3 to 8, I guess, or something. Like, I'm just throwing out numbers. Like, let's say every 3 charge, he gains +3 max speed. So, you still have a chance of low rolling. So, there's still, like, an element of RNG on, not on that, but on the plus, X plus speed. There's still an element of RNG because it does not raise his min speed. It's not like Body Sack where it gives him haste. It just gives him like, his average speed roll will go up, but you can just get unlucky, which is stupid, I feel like. So, you know, that sucks. I don't know. And then beyond that, he doesn't have many ways to get charge. Both of his things are on hit to gain charge instead of on use, which does matter. It does matter for a few reasons. The first is, obviously, if you lose a clash, you don't get charged, which sucks. Skill 1, it might not matter that much, but, like, again, Meursault's coin powers tend not to be very strong, just because, you know, they don't want to make him broken. So, you know, if you lose a clash with his skill 2, in case you didn't know how it works, when you lose a coin in a clash, let's say you lose, if you lose a clash with this skill, but then you win with the next 2 coins, right? But you lose the first one. The way that it works is it will eliminate the coins going this direction, right? It'll eliminate the first coin first, and then it'll roll with the last 2 coins, right? So if you lose any clash with this skill, then the first coin to get deleted will be the charge count coin, right? So, if you lose a clash with this, he won't gain any charge with this. And I'm assuming this is his main charge skill, which really blows, because that means, like, you really have to be careful with him. Other times that I notice it, like, the most noticeable times when this comes up also is Rodya's skill 1. I could not tell you the amount of times where you lose 1 coin with this skill 1, and her charge tempo is really strong. This ID's charge tempo is really strong because her skill 1 gives her enough charge instantly in order to use her skill 2, which is, like, really great, right? Because as soon as you hit with this thing, you gain 4, you lose 1 at the end of the turn, so this will be ready the next turn, right? The thing is, and that's, like, the most common scenario, too, because skill 1, skill 2 are very common, right? Skill 3 you like to see, and it's on use, right? Which is the main difference, because this is the most common scenario where you go skill 1, you'll go skill 1 into skill 2, right? But, if you loot, like, this skill has average, pretty average power. 4 plus 3 by 2, again, is, like, pretty much average for a 2-coin skill 1. And just skill 1s in general. if you lose this coin, which has happened to me countless times, by the way, if you lose the first clash with this coin will get deleted, right? And you'll only hit with this coin, which means that you don't gain any charge, right? And it's like, it's not even a non-issue. Like, this comes up, like, super frequently. Because it, like, let's say you're at 45%, like, you're at 45 sanity, and you just, like, one of your coins just hits that 1 in 20 and rolls tails, and you lose the clash, right? And you're just unlucky. Like, bye-bye. Bye-bye charge, and then your entire, like, setup is fucked up, right? As opposed to on use gain charge count, it doesn't matter if this loses any coins, right? Like, because it gives the charge on use before the clash even happens, so it doesn't actually matter. And that's a huge difference maker, right? So that is, like, concerning. The on hit gain charge count on a 3-coin skill, because usually 3-coin skill 2s do not have good coin power. And usually, if you have more coins, there's an increased chance that one of them will hit tails on, like, the 1 in 20 at 45 sanity, right? There's an increased chance that one of them will hit tails, and you will lose a clash that you, like, assumed you would have won, and then as soon as you lose that one clash, say goodbye to your charge. So that really kind of blows. And then support passive, at the start of the combat phase, one ally with highest charge gains max speed per charge next turn. I mean, it's fine. I don't think it'll ever come up. Actually, maybe it could. It would be really, really niche, though. Because if you overclocked, like, the only situation that would come up, and it's not like an irrelevant situation or anything, but it's very niche, right? The only time I could see this coming up is if you have a 2-slot Don, W Don, and you have Rabbit on your team. And then you would go overclock Telepole into, like, overclock Teledon into Rip Space, and then after that, Heathcliff would have the most charge at the end of the turn, and he would gain max speed from Meursault passive. But, like, that's extremely niche, right? Like, it's not, like, irrelevant, because having 2 slots on Dawn is, like, extremely common. Like, if you're just doing any remotely meta strategy, you would have Dawn and you would give her the 2 slots. So that's, like, not an uncommon scenario. And then having Rabbit on your team also is not an uncommon scenario. But that specific, like, lineup of events is very, very niche, right? So, I mean, it's not useless, but it's, like, I don't think it would ever really come up enough to make it super worth playing around. Anyways, can I scroll? Why is my scroll wheel not working? Oh, it's because it's over here. See what people are saying. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. This is gonna be great with Telepole Dawn, true, I guess. That's why he's built like a ball. Yeah, just a bunch of people, being like, dude, why the fuck is he bleed? Why is he bleed, basically seems to be the sentiment. I'm surprised about that. I did not play against the Rhino Corp in LOR, so I don't know what they did besides big damage. But I mean, there are, like, ways to increase his speed artificially outside of his own kit. Like, outside of his own passive, you can just use, like, Isong base ego to also increase his speed, so it's not, like, completely RNG, but he does not support Isong base ego at all, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe, isn't it Gloom? No, it's Wrath and Sloth, so he literally does not support it at all. So, like, I don't know. It seems like another Meursault ID that probably will be very niche and not see a lot of usage. Like, I can't, unless it's an actual DPS and, like, not a tank, which I don't think it would be a DPS. I feel like it would be a support bruiser. Uh, and it looks like he needs a lot of outside support. Like, I don't know. And then the payoff is not even damage. Like, the payoff for charging him is not even damage. It's bleed. So, like, I mean, to a point, you don't even need to overclock Teledon to charge him, because you don't even get any damage from it. You literally don't get anything from charging him. Besides, like, coin power on his skill 3, which is good to have. Like, coin power on a 3-coin skill is good to have, but it's not like something that you would need to, it's not something that you would need to turbo out, like, as quick as possible. It's not as important as, like, Dawn Rip Space Charge, or, like, Rose Spanner, what is it, Vibration Compression or something? What is that skill called? I don't know any, I hardly know any of the, yeah, Vibration Compression. I don't know any, I don't know most of the new, like, the Season 2 IDs skill names. Like, I could not tell you most of them, honestly. But yeah, it's not like you need to turbo this out as quick as possible, because, I mean, unless it's an absurd amount of coin power, obviously, but I kind of doubt it. But the only other payoff for charges is bleed count and then speed, I guess. But then the only payoff for speed is more bleed count, which is mostly not relevant. And then, you know, a little more damage on skill 1, which you're going to want to avoid using if possible anyway. So, I don't know. I mean, he seems pretty, I'm going to say underwhelming, I guess. I'll say, like, I mean, what are his other IDs? Like, would I want to use this over Rose Spanner? Probably not. Because Rose Spanner actually has Tremor synergy. He has, like, any synergy at all. So, you know, maybe I'd probably use Rose Spanner over him. Liu has now a niche in a burn core, so I'd probably use Liu Meursault over him. Like, he just does not have, okay, so, like, he does not have synergy with the team for the most part. Like, 90% of his stuff is solo support that nobody else cares about, right? So, like, generalists, like, he's a lone wolf, like, generalist, right? And, I mean, some of the best IDs in the game are lone wolf generalists, right? Like, Rabbit has very little team play, besides for Fragile, which is obviously broken, but besides that, he's very selfish. He body sacks for himself to set himself up and whatever. Same with W Dawn. She has almost no team play, except for 2 Fragile on Leap, which is obviously very good. But for the most part, she's very selfish, right? Like, Chef Ryoshu has very little team play. She's just a generalist stat stick, but the thing that all of these like, same thing with Sinclair, right? Oh, here he is. Same thing with Sinclair. He has very little team play. Most of his stuff is just his base stats being really good, right? And he's just a really good solo, like a lone wolf, self-sufficient character, right? So, I mean, again, like, unless Meursault has insane amounts of solo power, because his team play is very minimal. I mean, it's good support for the future. Like, if we get bleed support in the future, it's really good. But we don't have bleed support right now, nor is there a demand for bleed in the meta right now, like, at all, almost. So, even if there was a lot of bleed, like, even if there was a lot of bleed support, I don't even know if it would be meta, because there's just not a demand for it anyway. So, he needs, like, Rabbit level numbers in order to be good, because his team play is very, very bare bones. Like, he does not have any team play. Like, he does not offer anything to the team except for his raw stats, basically, because none of his status effects are relevant. So, I'll say medium hopes. I don't know. Like, Meursault as a Sinner, just in general, is just he is a support character, just in general, right? Like, none of his IDs are used for the actual stats. They're all used for potential synergy with the team. Liu is used for his burn, right? Not his damage. Rose Spinner is used for his tremor and his burst tremor, not his damage, right? So, if we're talking, like, just based on precedent, Rhino would be used for his bleed, not his damage, right? And bleed compared to Tremor and Burn is just not even remotely demanded compared to those two. So, I mean, I would say probably, like, I'd give him, like, a 4 out of 10 in terms of, like, how good I think he's gonna be. I mean, the number could skyrocket, again, if he has insane stats to justify having no synergy. If he has insane stats to justify having 0 synergy, and I'm talking, like, he would need, like, W Corp Don stats because of his lack of synergy. He would need W Corp Don rip space stats, which is, let's be honest, just not happening. So I'd give it like a 3 or a 4. Like, I don't think he's going to be very meta relevant. And then Zwei, Rodya, I just don't care about Zwei IDs, honestly. Like, I mean, Zwei Sinclair is just a fucking travesty, so. Gain poise count. Alright, yeah, I'm literally not even gonna read the rest of this. It's not even worth my time to read. Anyways. New update notice, very cool. Very important. Weekly bonus is not gonna reset upon, the update. So, wait until after maintenance to do your mirror dungeon, basically, is what this means. It says, like, please take care not to use up weekly bonus. Yeah, so, unlike the last time, where, you know, what you wanted to do was rush out all of your mirror dungeons before the patch, so that you could double dip on the weekly bonus, this time it will not reset, so wait until after the patch to do any mirror dungeon, right? So do not do mirror dungeon, until the hard mode drops, because weekly bonus will not reset. Unless, of course, you don't intend to do mirror dungeon hard mode, in which case do whatever the hell you want, right? I'm not your boss. Anyways. Did I skip, like, a bunch of notices? What did I skip? Dude, I can't fucking navigate this website. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 4. Yeah, okay. So, more, new content. Steam news page. I don't fucking care. Okay. Major changes. Outside of Mirror Dungeon. Sanity will now be reduced upon using Cinder's base ego. Buffs are planned for certain egos. Okay, aims. This is a very big change, obviously. Sanity will now be used upon using base ego. Okay. Currently, base egos have, by default, have no SP to use cost and requires relatively low ego resources while having similar clash powers and effects to other ego. That is very true. Base egos in general are very strong, for the most part. There's a few exceptions, like, you know, Suddenly One Day and, like, La Sangre de Sancho or something, but, like, beyond those, you know, beyond the real stinkers, all of them are kind of bangers. To balance the base ego with the others, we're planning to add sanity costs to them and adjust some base ego skills and passive that are considered to be weak. I fully support this. Base egos are way too strong, to be honest. Like, they are broken. So I think nerfing them is definitely warranted. I think it's definitely a very fair change. So we got -10 sanity, I guess. The majority of the crew seems to be in here. Snag Harpoon, what is cast, Pathos, yeah, okay. Sanity -15, Land of Illusion. Makes sense, I guess, because Land of Illusion gives Honglu sanity to use it, so makes sense that it would cost 15 sanity. Sanity -20, Representation Emitter. I think Representation Emitter is probably... It is hard competing for the best base ego in the game. It's like... It's between Representation Emitter, Body Sack, and, like, where is it? And Chains of Others. Like, those three base egos are, like, top 3 in the game, easily, right? Body Sack is obviously broken, like, you don't need to tell me, or you don't need me to tell you. Chains of Others, it's not, like, meta, for a couple of reasons. One, because Meursault is just not meta, generally. And 2, because if you're playing, if you're not, like, either you're not blind clearing, or you're a casual player, or you're not a casual player, so, like, you know, if you're like a remotely meta player, you're not going to use Chains of Others, right? The main usage of this is to literally cripple a boss, like, basically. And for that purpose, it is disgustingly overpowered. Because as soon as you use this thing on a boss, they literally become, like, wheelchair bound for a turn, right? And you can use it, like, over and over because it's so cheap. You can just literally turn a boss into a quadriplegic. Like, it is crazy how overpowered this, ego is in that context. So, like, if you're having struggling, like, clearing any stage, like, throwing Chains of Others at the boss is a surefire way to win, like, brainlessly, right? So it's extremely overpowered for that purpose. But, like, it's not like, meta, because it doesn't do damage or anything, right? So it is what it is, but it's still very overpowered. But beyond those two, Representation Emitter is stupid. Like, it is stupid. The only thing holding it back is the fact that we don't have Pride in the meta. Or we didn't. No, we did not have Pride in the meta previously. Now that we have Rose Spanner Rodya, and her skill 1 is Pride, that is pretty much enough Pride generation, because skill 1, and Rose Spanner is very good. So, I mean, if you're using her skill 1 over and over again, you'll get enough Pride for Representation Emitter fairly frequently. And, I mean, you don't need me to tell you, like, the Ego passive is broken. Gaining sanity for the entire team at no cost, basically, is broken. AoE damage is broken. And it's on a support character, right? It's a support ego that's on a support character. So she just benefits off of having, like, this free tool to throw out at all times. Like, this ego is obviously top 3. Extremely broken. So I'm glad they're nerfing that too, for sure, honestly. Like, this ego, it's been a long time coming, for a Representation Emitter nerf. I think, the only thing that's a little concerning is, obviously, in case you didn't know, when you use an ego, like, let's say you're clashing with an ego, you lose the sanity, when, like, at the start of, like, before attack or whatever. Like, I don't know what's, like, I don't know what battle phase, like, stage it's called, actually, but you lose the sanity after the clash is over. Like, before attack, you would lose the sanity. So, when you're using Representation Emitter at 45 sanity, and you're, like, clashing with it, you would lose 20 sanity, and then the ego's effect after attack. Like, when the attack happens, the ego's effect will trigger to give everyone sanity, right? So, like, yeah, after attack, it heals sanity, right? So, if you're at 45 sanity, the most sanity you will have for the actual coin roll, like, is 25, right? For the actual attack, the roll of the coin is 25. And then after you would gain some of your sanity back, but it definitely decreases the, it vastly decreases the consistency of rolling heads on this ego, which is pretty important because it's an AoE damage ego, so you want to be rolling heads on it, right? So, I mean, even though you gain sanity back from it, after the fact, you only lose, like, net 8 or something, but it's, like, really rough for the actual attack roll, but it's kind of deserved, so it's fine. Okay, what is this? Major changes to Representation Emitter. Okay, so what, they're nerfing it again? Base ego, we plan to adjust, considerably more powerful than the other base ego. Like I said, definitely true, it is extremely overpowered. It's up there. In addition, we've decided to adjust the significant SP heal effect, in order to prevent her from being considered an absolute must in gameplay content. I mean, she's not an absolute must, but she is very strong, like, very strong. She is definitely highly meta. All of her stuff is really overpowered. Like, she's bar none the best support in the game. Representation Emitter, Hexnail, and Fluid Sac are just, like, some of the best egos in the game you could ask for in a support. And then, obviously, Gaze is just, like, the nuts. So, it is definitely pretty strong. Absolute must, I don't think I agree with, but she is definitely, in any stage that you want a support in, she is a must. She is the best support in the game. But not all stages do you want to support. Like, you don't want to support in all stages. So she's not like, you know, in order to they're saying like in order to prevent her from being considered. So they're like future proofing. They're not saying she is right now, but I mean, I could see it happening, honestly. So they're future proofing it. Coin effect. Okay, I don't care about threat spinning tier 1. Alright, so after attack, heal 12 SP for all allies, true. After attack, heal 10 sanity for 3 other allies with the lowest sanity. It's kind of like a slap in the wrist nerf, I think. I don't think this is, like, really that much of a nerf. If anything, it just reduces her self-sanity healing by 2. Because most of the time, like, I'd say, like, 80% of the time, you're going to be, like, most of your allies are going to be max, right? The only time that they're not is if you're starting out a state. Like, the main, like, one of the main applications of this is to like jumpstart your sanity usage, sanity gain, right? So I mean, in that sense, it is a pretty substantial nerf. But other than that, like, once you get the ball rolling and your allies start getting higher and higher sanity, this will matter less and less. So it's just a nerf on, like, basically turn 1 and turn 2 where you would use it. So, I mean, you know, it is a nerf, but it's not, like, crazy or anything. And then the passive, attack skill, final power +2, if 10, gain 2 protection, but yeah, okay. After, if an enemy is staggered during this unit's attack, one ally with the lowest sanity has +2 heal efficiency next turn. What even is heal efficiency? I don't even know. I don't even know what that means. But wait, they gutted the passive. Wait, they actually completely destroyed the passive, though. It's like F tier passive. What is heal efficiency? Is that a status effect? Like, is that a known status effect? I think it might be. Isn't that like... Okay, status effects. Buffs. It's not a buff, I guess. Is it like a NPC stat? Nothing there. Debuff? Nope. So it's not a known buff. I mean, like, technically we don't know what it does. Like, technically we don't know what it does, but we can just infer what it does. Like, I guess it just I would imagine it increases your healing efficiency by like 10% per count or something. Like, this fucking passive got this passive got fucking gutted, like, genuinely. Like, actually, they destroyed this passive. It's not even remotely the same anymore, to the point where I don't even think it's like, this might be like bottom 3 passives in the game now, for base ego passives. Like, this thing is fucking dog shit. Wow. And it went from like top 3 ego passives, like base ego passives, to like bottom 3 instantly. Wow, that is a fucking huge nerf. I don't know if that was entirely necessary. I think you could just lower this by 1 and call it a day, honestly. That was just uncalled for, man. Adjusted amount of sanity regained when defeating an enemy with level difference. This is huge for NayuKhrome, mostly, on, like, hard mirror dungeon, I guess. Defeated by this unit after base 10 plus an additional 10 for 1 level difference. After. 10 sanity regained regardless of level difference. Oh, defeated by an ally. Okay, so it no longer scales with levels. So Sinclair might be useful. I thought, I don't know how I feel about this. Honestly, I thought that, I thought it was okay, because I thought they were trying to do a clever thing. Basically, like, what I imagined was, all of the, like, in line 2, what I assumed was in line 2, they were going to make the enemies level 40, in order to balance the NayuKhrome meta, basically. And they were gonna make the enemies level 40 because, one, you know, I feel like Mirror Dungeon, is kind of a test to see if we can handle level 40 stuff, which, we can, obviously, with the help of ego gifts and, you know, buffs and whatnot, obviously, but You know, beyond that, we can handle level 40 content at level 35 units. So I feel like what the message that I was kind of getting from that is like, you know, we're testing the waters by throwing in some level 40 enemies, just to see if you guys can handle it. And then, you know, because it was a success, we're making line 2 level 40 enemies across the board, which would help quell the NayuKhrome meta, basically, right? Because obviously, as it is now, he's unusable pretty much on floors 4 and 5 of Mirror Dungeon, because of the amount of sanity he gains. So it would actually make managing his sanity and choosing when to use him very, very difficult. Which I think would, you know, be probably a little bit smart. But, I mean, if they're just making it a flat value, it does make him usable. But it also does make him much, much stronger in Mirror Dungeon. So, you know, mixed feelings on that one, to be honest. And then, changes to terminology. Abnormal counter, change to focused encounter. Yeah, okay, dude, whatever. And then bug fixes. Fix an issue when defeating an enemy. Yeah, don't care. Fix an issue where speeding up Sun Shower ego would cause numbers to appear abnormally. Okay, sure. Where some ego cinematic effects would linger. I can't say I noticed, honestly. Fixed an issue where players sometimes would not progress to the next turn, including when gifts would leave no... Okay, I've seen people get soft locked by that, actually, so... that's a good fix. Fix an issue where no damage numbers would display when a unit dies from a status effect and the camera wouldn't focus. I could not tell you. Oh wait, no, I think I do know what that means, but I mean, that's a nice quality of life fix for sure. Fix an issue where enemy killed voice line would not play a different animation. Would not play if a different animation than Inner Gate Elbow Strike's fourth animation bro, okay, sure. Abnormality. Fix an issue where certain VFX for so that no one will cry was missing. Yeah, okay, sure. Fix an issue where certain enemy skill VFX would not play as intended. Okay. Fix the errors in choices event of Blubbering Toad. Ego Gift. Fix an issue where Ego Gift Compendium did not feature. Okay, dude. Fix an issue where Lunar Memory would not persist in battles with multiple enemy phases. Never had Lunar Memory, so, I mean, hey, I guess, you know, it's a good fix. Mirror Dungeon Shop. Fix an issue where choosing to heal one sinner would choose incorrectly. That is funny. Fix an issue with Sinclair's Talisman effect activation. About time. Even though, like, the thing is, they already fixed it. I don't know why they're even, like, why are they even bothering listing it here in this patch if they already fixed it? That's weird. Like, they should have just put it in the other patch, man. Fix an issue where the Doomsday Clock would skip certain combat phases. Sure. Fix an issue where the summon timing of Fairy Wine, which was to summon a Fairy Gentleman. Okay, sure. Changed Abno events to gain costs in Hell's Chicken to different events. Bro, who's still... There's people still playing Hell's Chicken Dungeon? Okay. Before, hurting Teddy Bear, KQE, after... Yeah, dude, I don't fucking... dude, Hell's Chicken event, and then this is the Lunacy comp. Sure. And then the, and then we got the hard, Mirror Dungeon news. Very exciting. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't care about any of this. I don't care about any of this. Again, the weekly bonus will not be reset, so don't do your Mirror Dungeons before maintenance. Wait until after to do your Mirror Dungeons. Do not waste your weekly bonus. Unless you want, like, unless you want 6 weekly bonus. Like, unless you want to do, like, three of the Mirror Dungeon, and then, you know, I guess, like, 3 of the hard Mirror Dungeon, because they are separate, but I feel like it's kind of a waste, personally. So, just don't do your Mirror Dungeons. Starting cost will be adjusted from 400 to 200. Did we even know it was 400 in the first place? I mean... Okay, sure, I guess. I don't think we even knew it was a 400 in the first place. Whatever. Sure. Interesting thing to specify. At the start, at shops and at rest stops, cost of all identities under 3 stars will now be adjusted to 0. So I guess it's just 2-star meta? Sure. I guess, okay, so I guess everything... every ID that is not a 3-star is free. Okay. So basically, it's just 2-star meta? Sure, I guess. I mean, so they have the amount of resources we get, but all of the 2-stars are free, so it's actually possible to fill out a full team without, like, buying literal troll IDs. Sure, I guess. Our goal is to encourage experimentation to enhance synergy between the current loadout, ego gifts, and skill changes while reducing anxiety caused by adjusting or rearranging starting comp in the middle of a run. I mean, it definitely makes it way more flexible. The fact that you can sub out, you can always count on the ability to sub out an ID for just a 2-star, right? Like, you can get a 2-star no matter what. So that's good, I think. The only issue I have with Hard Mirror Dungeon, for the record, is the fact that they said that the Hard Mirror Dungeon will use the levels of your actual IDs instead of automatically boosting them to max level, unlike the normal Mirror Dungeon. And I think that is, like, super stupid, I think. Because, like, it's, like, especially now that they're encouraging using a lot of 2-star IDs, and, like, I guess base IDs, but most people are not going to be using base IDs. They're going to be using 2-star IDs. Like, the fact that you're now making us use 2-star IDs that we probably have not leveled, and then, like, you're making us level them in order to use them in the first place is, like, really, really, like, not good game design. Like, it's not positive game design, right? Like, making the IDs of the levels of the IDs not max level automatically is just artificial difficulty, is what I call it, right? It's not like constructive difficulty, it's artificial difficulty, where now all of a sudden you're making players grind for XP tickets for no other reason than to compete at the level that you were already, like, giving them in normal Mirror Dungeon. Like, making Mirror Dungeon harder does not mean that you should make it, like, it does not mean that you should make it harder by taking away options. Like, or taking away, like, or adding grinding, right? That's not, like, how you make it harder. Like, taking away, that was, like, a bad way to put it. Because, like, obviously, making it harder by taking away options is fine, but, like, making it harder by adding grinding, which will reduce the amount of options arbitrarily, like, artificially, is not okay, I think. Like, I think that is, like, really, really trash game design. Because now, in order to do Mirror Dungeon, like, they say that you want to, you say that you want to encourage experimentation, but in order to experiment with 2-star IDs in the first place, you would need to boost them to, like, near max level in order to even experiment with them in Hard Mirror Dungeon. You would need to boost them to almost maximum level, which is, like, extremely antithetical to what they're claiming the intent is. So I really, really, like, do not agree with that change. It's not, like, it's not in this notice or anything. It's just, like, something that they said previously. And I hope they walk back on it, because that is, like, really, really stupid. Like, I can't even, like, I don't want to, I'm trying not to use, like, extremely negative words to describe it. Like, I don't want, it's hard to describe, like, how my disappointment. Because for the most part, Project Moon has not been steering towards, like, they did one of the main problems with, like, gacha games that people have, besides the gambling obviously, is the artificial difficulty, right? Like, gacha games are known for just endless grinding for like leveling and limit breaking, grinding for currency to pull dupes for your characters to get limit breaks and increase stats, right? And that is artificial difficulty, right? Like, that does not take skill to grind, right? It does not take skill to grind levels, and it does not take skill to swipe a credit card to buy gacha rolls and then pull dupes of a character so that you can limit break them and get increased artificial stats, right? Increased numbers, so that you can fight enemies that have increased numbers, right? Like, that is the main problem with gacha games, because that's how they get people to keep playing forever, right? They just increase the grind forever. And that level of artificial difficulty has not been in Limbus, for the most part, which I really appreciated, and I thought that PM was, like, you know, on the ball with that for the most part, right? Like, compared to traditional gacha systems, like, Limbus Company is literally, like, you can go into an event you can go into a limited time event. There's, like, no other game where you can do this. You can go into a limited time event and instantly pity out the event characters without playing the event at all. Like, literally, like, you don't have to play the event in order to get the event characters, and you don't need to pull on the banner to get the event characters, right? You can literally pity them and then instantly max level them within 5 seconds of the banner opening. Like, that's what I did with, like, Chef Ryoshu. Literally within, like, 5 seconds of the banner opening, I instantly pitied her. Without even playing Hell's Chicken at all, I instantly pitied her, and as a limited time event character, right? And, like, no gacha games let you do that, right? And I was like, dude, okay, this game is like, holy, dude, I love this. But then they turn around and they make Mirror Dungeon hard, artificial difficulty, by making you boost levels of IDs, which is just like, it goes against everything that they've been doing recently. Like, the whole design of the game, it goes against for the most part, and I'm highly against it. So, I mean, this seems very backwards to me, to encourage experimentation when you're making people level up to potentially up to like 6 or 7 2-star IDs that they haven't used previously. Like I loved experimenting with, like, the Liu squad, for example, right? I loved experimenting with the Liu squad. Most of them are 2-star IDs, right? Like, you could run into Mirror Dungeon 2 hard with the full Liu squad, and 3 out of the 4 of them are 2-star IDs, right? But my Meursault and my Hong Lu, despite being full uptie, are literally level 1. Right? Like, and I don't want to fucking have to level them. And same thing with, like, LobCorp Faust, right? Like, I was also playing with LobCorp Faust in Mirror Dungeon, and I was having a great time. But my LobCorp Faust is, like, level 5. And I don't want to, like, I don't want to have to level her just for Mirror Dungeon, bro. Like, they call it hard, but it's not hard for the right reasons. So I hope they walk it back. I doubt it. But, I mean, that's, like, you know, that's my main gripe with it, I think. Anyways, it's not related to the notice at all, but I just had to get that out of my system. Anyways, unpredictable future fixed encounters. Yeah, there was, like, the Fog of War mechanic or something, I think. I think that's what they're talking about. First room of, shops and rest stops will appear at fixed locations. So first room of floor 2, first room of floor 4 and 5, and the room immediately before the boss fight. Rest stop, first room of floor 3. So you don't get a shop on floor 3. And you don't get rest stops on the, other floors. Okay, sure. Whatever. There were instances in which unpredictable future prevented players from visiting a shop, therefore making them unable to use their save cost. That's a very positive change. Yeah, I mean, if you just get fucked by RNG and you can't tell where you're supposed to go because of Fog of War, there probably would be times where you just go multiple floors in a row without a shop, and that would fucking suck. So, I mean, this is a really good change for sure. Floor buffs adjusted. Okay, we'll see what that means, but hopefully they're, like, they said the floor 2 buffs are gonna be the same as the floor 5 buffs currently, which is, like, ludicrously absurd. I don't know. Because I don't think you would have many ego resources in order to outclash most of those enemies, by the time you get to floor 2, so I think that's a pretty positive change, I hope. Floor-based gift rarity categorization. The floor-based range of gift rarities will be adjusted. Floor 1 to 3 will feature rarity 1 and 2 ego gifts. Floor 4 and 5 will be rarity 3 to 5. 5 rarity. Okay, so they're introducing a new tier of ego gift, I guess. Cool. An option to refuse an ego gift has been added. That's fucking hilarious. That is hilarious. I'm pretty sure it's because of the Gossipium haters. To be fair, Gossipium is not a good relic. Like, it is just not. I just like it because it's funny, and it's, like, fun to use, but if you're actually trying to win, it's really troll. Especially like if you're especially if you're like on the later floors, Gossipium is super troll. So I'm all for this. I mean, it's like it's just adding player agency. I'm for it. Like, you know, people who roll Gossipium can still take it if they want. It's not like they're forcing you not to or anything. So this is a positive change. Choice gained and ego gift spawn rate during battle completion will be adjusted. Cost gained. Normal encounter 25, ego spawn rate 5%. Focused encounter, this is an Abno encounter. I think they renamed it, right? So they renamed the Abno encounters to focused encounter. Cost gained 30, ego gift 75, and then risky encounter 50 cost, but only 35% ego gift spawn rate. So you basically, you can choose what, you can target what you're aiming to do, basically, kind of. Because again, the Fog of War mechanic prevents you from actually, like, planning stuff. But, I mean, yeah, there is decision-making here, so I like that. I do enjoy that. There's at least a little bit of depth. Floor boss depends on the floor for cost. Ego gives 100%. Yeah, I mean, that hasn't changed. Following ego gifts, tiers and effects will be adjusted as follows. Milepost, rarity going from 3 to 2. When moving to a floor, yeah. I mean, this shit was bugged anyway. I think they might have fixed it, but I haven't taken it since, so... So they're nerfing the milepost, but they're making it rarity of 2. Reason the gift spawn on 4th floor onwards, it would only activate once. Thus, its rarity is lowered and its effects adjusted accordingly. So this is to combine with the change over here. That is not what I meant to do. This is to combine with the change over here. Floors 1 to 3 will only drop rarity 1 and 2 ego gifts, whereas floor 4 and 5 will drop 3 to 5. So, so now the milepost will only drop on floors 1 to 3. So it is guaranteed to drop early, and inversely, it is never going to drop late, right? Because it's no longer rarity 3. So it will never drop rate, and it will never drop rate. It will never drop late, and it will always drop early. So, you know, that's a very positive change, considering the usage of it. It's based on getting it, you want to get it as early as possible to get value. So I guess it makes sense to nerf it, because now you're guaranteed to get it early. If you see it, you see it early now. So you're guaranteed to see it early if you see it at all. So, I mean, nerfing it makes sense, I guess. And then Lunar Memory, rarity 4 to 5. Is this the only... This is the only rarity 5 relic in the game, I guess, now. Again, I've never had it, but a lot of people have talked about it. They're like, dude, bro, have you seen Lunar Memory? That thing's crazy. So, I mean, sure. Effect of, all type and affinity resistances of enemies for Abno's all parts changed to Fatal, unchanged. So it does the same thing, it's just increasing the rarity from 4 to 5. Gives rarity will now reflect its powerful effects and will spawn less frequently. Yeah, I imagine it's pretty OP. Compared to, like, other tier 4 relics, like, what is there, like, Faith, and, like, the really trash, like, Poise one, and isn't there, like, also a Tremor one, like, Downpour or something? I don't remember what it's called specifically, but it's the one that, like, perpetually bursts Tremor, like, over and over again. Compared to those, which are pretty powerful, minus the Poise one, the tier 4s are really powerful, but they're not, like, remotely as powerful as Lunar Memory. So, I mean, yeah, I think it does deserve a tier on its own. I don't know if the cost will increase based on the rarity, like, if the increased rarity will increase the cost, because I've heard that it costs, like, 400 in a shop if you see it or something. So, you know, I don't know if they'll increase the cost as well as the rarity. I kind of doubt it. 400 is pretty damn expensive already. So, I don't know, but, you know, it kind of makes sense. Yeah. What is this guy talking about? Oh, refuse the ego. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people, it seems like a lot of people are very excited to refuse an ego gift. Dude, all the Gossipium haters. My bad, boys. My bad. And then, yeah, Magic Hellbus teaser. You've already seen it. It looks pretty funny. So, yeah, it looks like that's about everything. So, Meursault, probably like a 3 or 4 out of 10, I'd say, in terms of meta relevance. That, again, I'm not rating them based on how good I think they will be. Like, Hong Lu was good, right? He was like he's a good ID, like Kong Lu, but he is not a meta relevant ID, right? So, Meursault, I'm not saying that he will be bad. I'm saying that I don't think he will be relevant in the meta compared to the other options. Is what I mean when I say, like, when I give ratings, right? I'm not saying that they will be bad. I'm not saying that they won't do well. I'm just saying that, will he be the meta choice? Like, what are the odds he will be the meta choice? And what are the odds that I will be considering him as a meta choice? Like, how likely is it that he will even be a consideration compared to the other options? And I'd say for now, pretty low, unless he has, like, Rabbit or W Don numbers, which justifies his lack of utility, right? So, for now, I'd say probably, like, a 3 or 4, because his other options at least have utility. He has no utility, so he only relies on his stats, and historically, Meursault ID stats have not been good. So, I'm not going to expect them to change it for him. But, you know, I'm open to being wrong. As per usual, I'm open to being wrong. And then, Zwei section, Rodya, I refuse to even read this. It's just not even fucking worth my time. So, I don't give a fuck, genuinely. So, yeah. I mean, no matter what, I literally, I instantly see poise, I'm just done. Like, dude, fuck off with this debuff, honestly, this buff. Like, honestly, it's just not, you know what, if it's better than Rose Spanner, and it's better than LCB, and it's better than Mittelhammer, then, you know, I mean, Mittelhammer's not relevant now that Rose Spanner's in the game. So, you know, if it's better than base Rodya because of support passive, and it's better than Rose Spanner, which is her best ID by a fucking country mile, right? If it's better than Rose Spanner, then, I mean, I'll just uninstall the game. There's, like, as simple as that. I don't even want to entertain this ID. It's genuinely just an insult, honestly, that they would make another Poise ID after seeing how all of the other Poise IDs panned out. It's insulting, honestly. So, beyond that, yeah, I mean, Mirror Dungeon changes and, you know, whatever update contents. I mean, I'm down for the base ego nerfs. I think base egos are really, really way too strong for the most part. They're very safe. Like, they're just too safe. Like, they're so safe that they're essentially free. Like, they're essentially free. It's very brainless. Like, when you see a hard clash, and you're like, well, I mean, you know, I don't want to use any of my other egos, I'll just use a base ego, right? That's literally what the thinking is. There is no, like, cost or anything associated with using them, so, I mean, I'd say the base ego nerf was warranted, but, I mean, you know, obviously it's kind of disappointing for, like, you know, brainless gameplay, but I think it's definitely deserved in terms of just game balance and longevity. So, you know, I think it's a warranted nerf. I think it's definitely justified. And then, the representation emitter nerf is, like, the representation emitter nerf is, controversial, I think. Like, I think for the most part, I agree with the nerf, except for gutting the ego passive entirely. Like, that seems uncalled for. You already nerfed it by making it cost 20 sanity, so the roll is going to be way less consistent, right? You nerf this, which is, you know, half of its usage is, like, setting up a setup tool to give your sinners, like, a jumpstart insanity at the start of a battle or at, like, the beginning of Railway. That's, like, some of the usage. The other usage is, like, you know, unaffected for the most part. But, like, completely gutting the shit out of it, like, you could have at least made it, like, relevant. Like, you could have kept it, like, somewhat useful. Or, like, you know, just make the attack's final power, like, +2, or instead of +2, like, make it +1 or something. You know, you would be nerfing it by 50%. but at least it would still do something, man. Like, this doesn't even do anything. Like, there's just no fun. Like, that's just, that's a little uncalled for, I think. And then the Mirror Dungeon 2, looks pretty good. The changes all seem positive. Like, all of the changes seem reasonable. Like, you know, making, 2 stars cost nothing seems reasonable. Adjusting and making sure you get rest stops consistently and shops consistently. Floor buffs adjustment, very good. Standardizing the rarity, levels of ego gifts, very positive change. Making encounters actually have some decision-making depth, because now you have to, gauge whether or not you want more cost versus an ego gift, right? That's a positive change. It adds more decision-making, complexity. And then, you know, Milepost getting rarity reduced is good. Lunar Memory getting rarity increased is good. I'm down for all of these changes, but, like, dude, they're not watching my fucking videos, obviously, because I have, like, 90 subscribers, and I get, like, 1,000 views per video. But, like, dude, I cannot describe how against, like, not boosting ID levels to maximum is. Like, that, it's just so, like, it's lazy, it's lazy game design. Like, that's what it is, literally. It's lazy game design. It's like, when, it's like Clash Royale adding level 15, right? It's like, it's just arbitrary difficulty, right? And your reward for boosting your IDs to max level, like, your reward for boosting cards to level 15 in Clash Royale is, like, you just get the same exact interactions that you had at level 14, right? It's literally arbitrary grinding and arbitrary difficulty. And it's the same thing here. Like, your reward for boosting all of your sinners to level 35 for Mirror Dungeon 2 hard is literally the same exact interactions that you would have gotten if they just just gave it to you anyway. Like, it is stupid. It is literally stupid. It's lazy. And it's just overall bad. Like, it's just bad. They're introducing the bad parts of gacha games to this game, which I think is just really stupid. It's just arbitrary difficulty, which I'm very much against. I think that is stupid. So, you know, let me know what you think. Especially about, I mean, honestly, I don't even, like, what I would say, like, I'm interested in hearing your opinion about Rhino, but I don't even know what other opinion there would be. Like, genuinely, like, I don't even know what other opinion there would be besides, like, just give him the hammer and then make him a Tremor ID. Like, you know, I think that would be pretty neat, right? I think making him a Tremor ID would be really hype, because that would make me excited for Tremor. But, like, dude, why does he only inflict bleed count? Like, that is stupid. And then, like, I don't fucking know, dude. Like, very, very mixed. Mirror Dungeon I'm very positive on, for the most part. All the changes are good. It's just, like, their original design for it was just very flawed, in my opinion. And then the new IDs look pretty whatever to me. So, you know, I mean, we had to have a non-banger banner at some point, right? So, yeah, anyways, that's, that'll be it. Peace out. See you Wednesday, when I'm obviously gonna be streaming Mirror Dungeon 2 hard, probably with level 30 IDs, because I just don't have the XP ticket technology. Like, I'm fucking poor on XP tickets. I've been, like, slowly grinding them up, but dude, leveling IDs is so goddamn expensive in this game. Like, we need, like, a rework on XP Lux or something. Like, a more efficient way to grind tickets, because, like, holy shit, dude, grinding XP in this game is soul-crushingly, like, inefficient. So, like, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I've already talked long enough, I think. I'll see you Wednesday or Thursday, whenever I stream. It might be, like, I might do it, like, minute 1 of the patch. We'll see. I'm thinking about just literally spawn camping the Mirror Dungeon 2 hard patch. But we'll see. It depends on how I'm feeling. Because, again, they come out really late at night, so it's gonna be, like, a midnight stream for me if I do. For, like, probably, like, 4 hours or more, like, 5 hours long midnight stream. So that might be rough. I'll have to see. But anyways, until then.